Hey everybody, Andrew Champagne here. I'm here with my producer, Jordan Mitchell. We're doing the end of the year countdown. I'm here with my executive producer and backline gentleman, Kevin. Daniel, you're not here today. I miss you. This is going out to Daniel, okay? Daniel's our super amazing staff member, volunteer, who usually is here helping, but had a family commitment. So Daniel, thank you so much. We appreciate you, brother. We love you in Burlington. Love when you come over and help at the station. Kevin, I want to thank you. I better do some thank yous real quickly. My departing producer, Jordan Butterfield. Jordan, thank you so much for your kindness, your encouragement, keeping me on a schedule. Thank you for your wonderful work for Channel 17. You really, really helped me out a lot. I wish you the best of luck, my friend. I'm going to have a new producer, and her name is Jordan Mitchell. Jordan, thank you so much for being here today on the first show. I'd also like to thank Megan O'Rourke. Megan, thank you so much for your dedication to the station. You make this whole thing go, I think. I'd also like to thank Emily. I'd also like to thank Ms. Davidian. Thank you. And thank you so much. Looking forward. We're so glad we're back on a regular schedule. Channel 17 did a great job during COVID. So that's pretty much my thanks on the studio side. I thank you all. And before we get into politics, because I got 45 minutes today, so I've got to do my COVID wrap, okay? We're in winter. You know, I was thinking that when I rode my bicycle here today. And that it's again flu season, it's again COVID season. And I'm reaching out to all of you who are watching the program, you know, especially in the Old North End where I live and where this is filmed. And actually, okay, just to let you know, this is coming to you live from the corner of North Winooski Avenue and Archibald Street in the historic Old North End. We thank you. And I'd like to thank the Hinsdales for, this is a wonderful building. They're very, very kind. They're good landlords. And thanks for watching out for Channel 17, Jacob Hinsdale. Thank you, Mr. Hinsdale. Okay, talking about COVID. It's not going away. It's easy to say, oh, you know, geez, people aren't wearing a mask, or I haven't been sick. There is in Burlington, COVID is going around. There's also a very rough cold and flu that's about a 2-week, really, really rough one. And I got a flu shot this year, and I have had all my 5 shots. But what I'm worried about is the people that are watching this show that are nervous about the vaccine, who thinks, hey, maybe the vaccine is dangerous. As we've seen, the vaccine has killed not one person. The vaccine is so safe. My mom has gotten her 4th and 5th vaccines, age 87. These vaccines are what's going to contribute to keeping Vermont, New England, America, the world on an even keel. Now, getting back into politics, the Republicans were going to are always quick to blame the Democrats for the inflation. And sure, there's been inflation. Everything's up about 10%. You can't say it's not. But with such a grave epidemic and such very, very poor mismanagement by President Trump, thank God for Dr. Fauci, we still have this problem. I think President Biden and Vice President Harris have done a fantastic job on this. But what we've got to do, brass tacks, is you've got to get vaccinated. Now, the first vaccine is 70% effective. That's pretty good. We'd take that in Vegas anytime. And so what we need to do is, if you haven't had that first vaccine, okay, when I got it, you know, about a year and a half ago, the nurse put the needle into my arm, and I didn't even feel it. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not sure you got that. And the nurse said, yes, I did. Of course I did. So there was virtually, I couldn't even feel it, and there was absolutely no side effects. So if you have not gotten one of the vaccines, it's like learning how to drive. You've got to have someone show you. Maybe someone can answer your questions. You can always call me, 802-540-0717. 802-540-0717. I like working on phone. But for example, I saw at Fletcher Free Library today that the shots were being given along with the flu shots. So all of this is absolutely free, okay? And they can answer. They're the kindest people. I want to thank all the people, the first responders, the hospital workers, the doctors, the nurses, anyone who works at the hospital, the people who do the phlebotomy, the actual giving of the shots. They're wonderful people, and I thank them. This has killed over 1 million people or so in America, and we can't keep moving on unless you haven't got the shot. So if you've gotten one, hey, let's get that second. Let's get that booster. Boy, that's an important one. And while you're there, they're offering the flu shot. The flu shot will really save your life because these flus get more and more virulent and they don't respond as well. So please think about getting a vaccine. Thanks to Fletcher Free Library today for doing that. They've also done it in this building several times. I got one of my booster shots here. So that is my COVID wrap for the monthly show. We took a break in November, I'm sorry to say, because the show was initially supposed to fall on Election Day, and I was busy working at the polls as an inspector of elections in Ward 2. So, and then I got to be honest, I needed a break. Been doing a lot of politics, a lot of campaigning. We are going to take this from the top, and let's start from the top. Let's bring it down, okay? Kevin, I don't know, do you have your, do we have our wonderful pictures of our great Democrats? Yeah. Well, Democrat of the Year, it's no contest, is my main man, Uncle Joe, President Joseph Biden Jr. Love him. Boy, did he have a good year. There he is. Happy birthday, Mr. President. You look great. Okay, we made it through the midterms. We've controlled the Senate. The House is going to be basically at a gridlock. The president's appointments are going through, judicial, diplomatic. We see our support of Ukraine has not wavered. Perhaps there'll be some peace overtures in the coming months. My heart goes out to the Ukrainians, soldiers, and all soldiers anywhere fighting in the winter. Oh, can you imagine anything more horrible? The Ukrainian, a country recognized by the United Nations, just to be invaded like that, it's wrong on so many ways. And please, obviously his picture is not going to be up here. Can we leave Joe up for a second, please? Mr. Putin, his interference, especially in the 2016 election, was beyond flagrant. He is an enemy of the United States. And let's make that 1,000% clear, please, okay? Okay, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm talking about Putin. I got to keep it back to American politics. Mr. Biden, thank you. Your wonderful diplomatic appointments, the Green New Deal, the money that was put into our economy, like it or not, without that, I think our economy could have faltered. We do forget sometimes how really, really wealthy America is. And sometimes you've got to spend the money you have. So thank you. I'd like to thank you, President Biden. And also, what about his partner, Dr. Jill? I love her. Is she up here? I think she is. I think Kevin might have a picture of her. I hope so. Okay, no picture of Dr. Jill. She has been an unbelievable First Lady. Still teaching full-time at community college, teaching writing. Hey, there she is. I think she's great. I think she's one of the best First Ladies. She works all week and then travels the country. Great mother, grandmother, partner to Joe, First Lady, teacher, professor, doctor, writer herself. Dr. Jill, we love you. I think they're a great combination, and I think and I hope, I don't have inside information, but I do believe that within 3 months, I'm going to be able to say to you that President Joe Biden is running for re-election. And I will be trying to run. I was a delegate for him in 2020, and I will be working on that again. So we are going to take it. The rumor is the convention will be somewhere in the South this time. I don't have too much inside information. I have a little. I'm a member of the Democratic State Committee. So also New York City is in the running. So there you go. There you go. Just want to, getting back to Mr. Biden, we had sure some tough things happened. The Republicans, they tried to block stuff. They tried to moderate stuff. They tried to water down stuff. Not for the people. Roe versus Wade was a terrible decision by a terrible court. Now, I do believe Justice Roberts tried to keep it together, but he failed miserably. And we see these last two. We see how President Trump was able to ram these nominees through, both very flawed, and both who lied to the senators. So even Susan Collins, a Republican senator, said that Brett Kavanaugh lied to her about Roe versus Wade, that had been precedent for 49 years. So sometimes out of terrible things, some good things can happen. And what happened was all around, beginning like in Kansas, people turned away from any total bans on abortion rights. The country is getting younger, and I believe that this will be revisited again in a new case with a new court. Now, you can change the Constitution, but I would support a constitutional amendment, maybe a 20-year term for a Supreme Court justice. Lifetime is too long. So Clarence Thomas, who is the worst Supreme Court justice in modern, maybe history, he was appointed in 1990 or 1991. And that was by the first George Bush. So we see, I don't think anything in American politics. So since he's been appointed, Bill Clinton served 2 terms. George W. Bush served 2 terms. Barack Obama served 2 terms. Donald Trump served 1 term. And now President Biden's halfway through his first term. And this man is still making policy. And also his wife she's a terribly partisan Federalist, and he is not a favorite. He will not be a guest on this show anytime soon. Okay. Mr. Biden had some great legislative triumphs. We had a bitterly divided Senate. Thank you to Vice President Kamala Harris, who's broken I don't have the number, but quite a few ties. Do we have a picture of our wonderful Vice President here? I don't know if we do, but we're trying. She's had a tough job. To be Vice President is not easy. There's you're there to help the president. You're there as an ambassador for the country. And she's also been asked for responsibility of working on the border with Mexico, which is, that's a tough assignment. So I wish her the best. Also, the second gentleman, I like him a great deal. I think he's great. His name is Doug Einhoff. So, Mr. Einhoff, good. Thank you for your good work this year. Okay, let's bring it down to talk about Senator Leahy. Patrick J. Leahy. Senator Leahy. He's been senator since January 1975. Senator Leahy is retiring. He will be a senator for about 15 more days. He is currently President Pro Tem of the United States Senate. So that means that in the state of, for example, in the presidential succession, it goes President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, Speaker of the House, who is the wonderful Nancy Pelosi, and we're going to talk about her too. I'll have to circle around. And then Senator Leahy. So I'd like to thank all the Capitol Police that have kept him safe the last couple of years. He's right in the bubble of succession. It's a very important job, and he's, President Pro Tem of the Senate. I've done this several times in this show. I'd like to personally thank Senator Leahy and Mrs. Marcel Leahy for their kindness to me. Through their good graces, I've been hired a few times and worked on the Democratic campaigns for their campaigns and also other campaigns. So I'd like to thank them personally for their kindness. I'd like to thank John Tracy. I'd like to thank Carolyn Dwyer. I'd like to thank John Gaudreau. I'd like to thank J.P. Dowd. What a long list of Senator Leahy's staffers. They are doing incredible things. There he is. Good picture. I'm sorry I didn't notice that. I don't know if we have a picture of Mrs. Leahy up there too, if that's possible. She's a wonderful person. And boy, what a team. What a team. Senator Leahy, his respect and civility and kindness, to use the words of Senator-elect Peter Welch to talk about Senator Leahy. Chair of the Judiciary Committee, chair of, I think, Appropriations Committee, worked on some huge issues. You know, wonderful chronicler of the Senate with his camera. Wonderful photographer. I recommend his biography. Just came out. There he is. Hey, what a great team. There she is, Marcel Leahy. Wonderful person. Boy, does she care about Vermont. Those two, they're dying the wool, Vermont. They really are. And I'd like to thank them for their amazing work in 48 years, coming back every weekend, traveling the country, traveling the world. Senator Leahy, thank you for your wonderful work on landmines. Trying, you know, still in Vietnam, in Korea, in Europe sometimes even. Landmines still go off all through the Balkans area. Really terrible. And a lot of times it's just a poor farmer or some young kid. It's awful. And Senator Leahy is trying to ban those. It's done great work with Senator McCain, late Senator McCain, who was quite a man too. But he's a Republican, so we're going to stick to the Democratic side. Senator Leahy, when he's first sworn in, President Ford was president. So I'm going to go over the list of presidents that he has served under because it's quite a list. President Ford, President Carter, age 98, President Reagan, President Bush, President Clinton, President George W. Bush, President Barack Obama, President Donald Trump, and now President Joe Biden. He has worked with all those men. He knows all of those gentlemen. And he had some great stories in his autobiography about President Ford. He was quite a personable guy, and Bill Clinton and Barack Obama and Jimmy Carter, and you know, his run-ins with Dick Cheney, who was a very partisan Republican. And also, I want to remind everyone that after 9/11, unfortunately, there was a big overreaction sometimes in parts of America, and the Patriot Act trampled on a lot of civil rights, and, for example, conversations being taped. You know, any conversation is taped in America now by these intelligence agencies. So Senator Leahy stood up for the First Amendment, okay, and also, you know, against the use of torture, and also trying to close Guantanamo and all sorts of good stuff. Senator Leahy, you are tops in my book. Thanks for employing me. Thanks for being so kind. Your kindness at the convention, and he's sponsored so many conferences and great dinners and stuff I was able to go, and so thank you. I wish you luck in retirement. I know you're going to be doing some great things. I know it. And I will see you in Vermont soon. And I'd like to thank all his staff for all their kindness to me for over the years. Okay, shifting. But what a great successor, Senator Leahy. I know if you were sitting here, you would agree. You've been in the studio before. My main man here, Senator Peter Welch, Congressman Peter Welch, there he is, was elected with a huge, boy, he got a lot of votes. And he defeated his his Republican challenger, Gerald Malloy, who he did what he could. That's all about what I can say. There's Peter. Hey, Peter, thank you for all your good work. Thank you for employing me, my friend. There's a lot of people I need to thank on that campaign. His campaign manager, Ryan McLaren. Thea Wurzburg, his outreach coordinator. Ben Sarl, his digital and photo guy. Marsh, his digital guy. Hank. Maggie. Who am I? I'm probably not forgetting a couple people. Meredith. Wonderful, wonderful people. And I want to thank the landlords down at 1 Main Street, the train station. They were great landlords for the campaign. That's where Congressman-elect Becca Balint. Do we have a picture of Becca? Hey, there she is. Looks like that's on the steps of the State House. So, Becca, congratulations to you. You are taking Peter's place. He's been congressman since 2007, 8-term congressman. You're going to go down there and do a wonderful job. I know you're going to get some wonderful committee assignments and work with our Democratic congresspeople. And I don't know if we have a picture, Kevin. How about our wonderful departing Speaker of the House, Miss Pelosi? Boy, do we think she's great. Now, I don't think she's watching this show, but I want to personally thank her. I've seen her speak, and she's unbelievable at the conventions, and I hope to see her at the next Democratic National Convention. And I sure want to wish the best to her husband, who you see in the hate in America. Some psychopath broke into his house and tried to hit him over the head with a hammer. That's the kind of political climate we're in sometimes. Now, hey, there she is. What a great picture with the Washington Monument in the background. Miss Pelosi, 15 terms in the United States House. I think 3 or 4 terms as Speaker. First woman Speaker, elected twice as women Speaker, 2 different times. John Boehner was in between, and Paul Ryan. Remember those 2 also rans? Look at her. She's the best. No one has raised more money for the Democratic Party ever than Speaker Pelosi. So thank you, Nancy. You have done a great job. You care about America. Without you, there'd be no national affordable health care insurance. Thank you. Amongst other things, campaign reform, all sorts of good things. I want to thank you for your long years. So, let's see. Becca ran a wonderful campaign. Let's go back to her, because that was big. I can't just go over that. I need to thank her campaign office too. Natalie Silver, Charlie, Hannah King, Ellery, Peter. I don't know if I'm forgetting anyone, but Becca really worked hard. I think she did a great job on her campaign. I think she's going to do a wonderful job. She's got a lot of energy. And you know what? Maybe it's good in a way. I shouldn't say this as a Burlington Paul, but maybe Brattleboro gets some love down there. That's where she's from. Why we're getting back to Miss Balint, we have a couple new members on the team, and that will be David Zuckerman will be returning. David Zuckerman will be returning to the lieutenant governor's position. And we'll talk about David for a second, and I think we've had his picture up there. And David cut his ponytail, so he looks great. Looks great. That used to be kind of his trademark. There he is. That's also in front of the State House. David did something it's not easy to do. He did a second act. He was lieutenant governor. He ran for governor. He lost. He then 2 years later ran for lieutenant governor again and won. David always wears out 2 pairs of shoes, always goes to all 14 counties. So while I'm wishing him well, I'd also like to say, there he is. He's a good man. UVM alum, longtime state rep from Burlington, state senator, lieutenant governor, farmer, good man. I know she's going to be back, but I need to say goodbye and good luck. But I know she's going to be back. To our current lieutenant governor, my friend Molly Gray. Molly, I think your future is unlimited. I think you have so much to give Vermont and America and the world. You're truly kind of a world citizen. Hey, that's a nice picture. That's a great picture. Molly, thank you for your 2 excellent years as lieutenant governor. I appreciate your good fight for Congress. It's hard sometimes when you don't win. I'd like to thank her team, Spencer Dole and Samantha. They're good people. She's a real ambassador for the state of Vermont. Molly, thank you so much. I appreciate all your personal kindness. Burlington resident, lives in the South End, so maybe she's watching this. I hope so. You're going to be back. You're going to be back in Democratic politics, and you've had some great success, and let's just keep moving. So, if you see Molly out there, wish her luck. She's good people. All right, we have about 13 minutes. I think actually I have 14 minutes. Okay. So let's talk about, I'm sorry, I should do a little more better organization on this, but I guess I've got to talk about the presidential race because that's going to be the really biggest thing. It is my firm belief, repeating again, that President Biden is going to run. I'm going to talk about President Biden for about 5 minutes, Kevin, if you want to put a picture of him up, please. He has done a wonderful job. He's restored honor and dignity to the office. The previous president, I don't even like to mention his name, and his picture will never be shown on this show. He operated a business out of the White House, which no president, even the most conservative, even the most partisan Republican, would be aghast at that. He meddled in other countries. He was impeached twice. He was guilty twice. He also encouraged people to breach the capital of our country. Really, when I think about it, maybe the most sacred spot that I know, really, to assault, to try to injure, to vandalize, to destroy, people urinated and went to the bathroom in the Capitol, to destroy antiques, to walk through the Capitol with swastikas and Confederate flags, and to threaten wonderful Capitol Police. It's a high crime, and there's no misdemeanor in that. That's a high crime. And he was a terrible, terrible president. And as Richard Nixon had to say, I am not a crook, but Donald Trump was a crook. His Trump family organization was just got found guilty in New York court, federal court. I'm not sure it's federal or state. He's under so many indictments. He's been sued well over 1,000 times. So just think about that. Now, as partisan as I am as a Democrat, we are a two-party system. Now, Burlington's shown that maybe we should be 3 or 4 parties. I don't know. But if the Republican Party nominates him, we've really stepped back as a society. And if they're ever going to move forward, it's really a cancer on American politics. It's really terrible, terrible. And we see other Republicans like Mike Pence, like Mitch McConnell, like Paul Ryan, like John Boehner, really speaking out about how terrible this person is. And this kind of racism and just distrust of a non-white people, just a total belief in a white cultural hierarchy is holding our country back. And we are the beautiful mosaic, man. We are the rainbow, as Jesse Jackson would say. When they go low, we go high. People have disputed that. When they said we go low, we got to hit them like a barnyard. I don't know what to think about that. Okay. So my feeling is that Donald Trump will not be nominee of the party. Only one current member of Congress attended his campaign kickoff. Now, we know he got a lot of votes. Okay, I have to give him that. But President Biden got almost 7 million more. So to the election deniers out there, and it's easy in Vermont, everyone's progressive or extremely liberal or for the people, just 12 miles across the lake there. Okay, if you go down to the waterfront, that is Congresswoman Elise Stefanik's district, who is turned from a moderate Republican. Oh, okay. That's the last we're going to have her on there, okay? She's terrible. She's going to be the number 2 or 3 Republican. And so her district is 12 miles from where I'm speaking right now, 12 and a half miles. That's pretty close. That's from Burlington to Richmond. Okay, I think we've seen her, Kevin. Thank you so much. Let's talk about, let's bring it back. Okay, I've got to talk about him. Hey, how about my favorite mayor in Vermont? I haven't talked about him yet. Let's go, Moreau. There he is. That looks like it's taken in Burlington City Hall. Hey, Moreau, looking good there. Sharp suit, man. I'd like to thank him personally. I think that he's going to run for mayor again. He will be up 1 year from town meeting day. Okay, here's another thing. We had to change some wards around the city council. I don't know, do we have Karen Paul and Zariah Hightower's pictures? There's Karen. Looks like she's listening to testimony. And then Miss Hightower, do we have her picture? Well, they worked on a plan we had to change some of the wards around. And for example, I am in Ward 2 for many years. Unfortunately, I'll be in Ward 3 now. All the wards would have to be within 10% of each other. So you can go to the Burlington City website and see where you are. For example, I'm in Ward 2 on Green Street. I'm now in Ward 3, even though I still live on Green Street. So what's happened is there's been growth. There's been a lot of student growth. We're trying to move the students around through the wards, and all the wards have to be within 10% of each other. Were we able to get a picture of Miss Hightower up there, Kevin? Okay, not at this time. Okay, well, Zariah, and you and Karen, you had to make some tough decisions. I can't say I was the happiest I had to change wards, but I understand. Let's talk about a big victory for the Democrats. Ward 1, we had a special election. A progressive resigned. He left early to apply for a city job. And there was a 3-way race for city council. And we had, her name is Mia Brandt. She is the new city councilor from wards 1 and 8. Now, she will have to run again in March. So, congratulations, Mia. Congratulations. I got to meet you at the party, thanks to Halversons for that. And I know you're going to do a wonderful job. So we are going to have, in March, a race for 1 and 8 and 8 because the counselor there had to move to Boston for some personal reasons. I wish her luck, Allie House. And so we are going to have an amazing candidate in Ward 8. I cannot wait to announce that name, but I've been asked to wait till Thursday. This is someone we're going to be rocking it. You're going to see me out campaigning with these candidates during town meeting day. And you know what? That's in February when things are, boy, is it cold. I almost fell off a porch once campaigning with my friend Richard Dean, Councilor Dean. So when someone comes by your door, I don't care what party they are, take a second to say hello, maybe invite them in, take a minute to chat with them. They care, they're running, it's not easy. I have 6 minutes left, so we are going to bring it around. Again, I think it's been an excellent year for the Democratic Party. I'm very, very proud of Senator-elect Peter Welch. And also, I'd like to say hello to his partner, his wife, Margaret Cheney, who is a wonderful person. A member of the Public Utilities Board, also former state rep herself from Norwich. Absolutely wonderful person. We had, Congressman Welch's campaign was very inspired, and it was issue-oriented, and it was based on all 14 counties, okay? He went everywhere, man, just like the Johnny Cash show talks about. And we also have some new people. Okay. Charity Clark is our new Attorney General. I think we have a picture of her. She did a wonderful job. There she is. Charity, thank you so much. you did a really great campaign, both in the primary. The primary was not easy, and in the general election. She's an assistant attorney general. Also, we have a new Secretary of State, State Rep till now, till January. How about Sarah Copeland Hansis of Bradford? Hey, there you are. All right. Thank you so much. Sarah, she had a primary against a couple excellent opponents, including my friend Chris Winters, who's assistant. He's assistant Secretary of State. And Chris, I wish you the best, my friend. And also, I don't know if we have it, Mike Pichek has now been elected. He is now state treasurer. So here's our officers. Governor. And boy, did he win. He really did well. I have to take my hat off to him. I'd like to thank Brenda Siegel. I think we have Brenda's picture too. How about that? Hey, there you are. Hi, Brenda. Brenda ran a good campaign, inspired. You know, wore out 2 pairs of her shoes. Phil is very, very popular, very tough to beat. I know I have 5 minutes left, and I thank you. So here's our elected officers very quickly. Governor Phil Scott, Lieutenant Governor Dave Zuckerman, Secretary of State Sarah Copeland Hansis, State Treasurer Mike Pichek, State Auditor Doug Hoffer does a good job. And also Attorney General Charity Clark. So I'm going to wrap it up. This is going to be it for the year. I'd like to thank Channel 17. They've been so kind to me, and I listed off so many kind people. Thanks again today, Jordan. And Kevin, as always, you're such a nice guy. You've become a friend. I really appreciate you. And I have 2 minutes left. So what I'd like to thank is everyone who watched this program, anyone who voted this year. You know, we had primaries, we had the general election, we had a special election. This was a tough year. COVID was really tough. Please, please think about getting vaccinated. If you have any questions, if you'd like me to go with you, if you'd like me to help you register to vote, please give me a call, 802-540-0717. Also, if you have any questions, if you're wondering where your next meal is going to come from, if your apartment's cold, if your electricity's off, if you're having a tough time with your landlord, if you're in a scary situation, if you're in an abusive relationship, you need some help, you need a friend, you need someone to talk to, of course you can call me, but what I want you to do is call the professionals that you can just dial 211. We're going to have that up as a prompt for next show. 211. 211. And why I'm here, my last minute, what I'll be doing on New Year's Eve. This is Highlight. This is the city's first night. This is the program that will be done with Burlington City Arts. It will happen at the waterfront. It will happen at all sorts of community centers, churches in Burlington, on Church Street, inside, outdoors. We got some great, great people coming, playing, bonfires, bands, the whole thing. It's called Highlight, and I will be a part of it. So, getting ready to say goodbye. Andrew Champagne from the Democratic State Committee. I'd like to thank all of you. I wish you happy holidays. I think we had a good year. God bless. I'd like to thank everyone for watching.